Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're posing the question, have foreigners ever been able to own real estate in Thailand? That's land in Thailand. And the reason I got to thinking of this video is I was reading a recent article from the Pattaya Mail, pattayamail.com. Article is titled, New Laws to Permit Foreign Ownership of Thai Property Will Benefit China. And the excerpt that got me thinking, quoting directly, the latest moves are in direct contrast to the historical debate. In 2003, the Thailand Elite Visa was initially marketed on the basis of allowing cardholders to buy freehold property rather than just condos, but the concession was withdrawn after opposition in Parliament. In 2006, there was a wholesale revision of visa rules with the half promise that those with one-year retirement or marriage permit would be able to buy one rai of land provided they built a house and lived in it. Nothing came of that either. The 2006 thing was a little before my time. I kind of remember people talking about that. But yeah, long story short, real estate ownership by foreign nationals in Thailand is heavily restricted. It's going to remain heavily restricted, I think, into the foreseeable future. Yes, there are currently talks with respect to long-term visas and things for there to be some sort of provision which might allow somebody to buy a single rai of land for like home ownership. Now, that said, there are circumstances where foreign nationals could control real property in Thailand, most notably things under the Board of Investment, the BOI, now the Eastern Economic Corridor concessions, it may be possible. But those are strictly in sort of an economic development context where the land is being purchased for the specific purposes of developing it and putting something like a factory on it or something like this. Yes, historically, there have been circumstances, and it is technically possible for a foreign national to own real estate in Thailand. Generally speaking, though, or not even generally, specifically speaking, that has to be signed off by the Minister of Interior, and that's quite a rarity. You're not going to see that happen very often. There has to be sort of a major national interest, for lack of a better term, in allowing that to occur to where that minister is going to allow it. Historically, there have been a few instances, most notably, folks that have ever come to Thailand and gone to the Jim Thompson house. It's notable that that iteration of the then Treaty of Navigation and Commerce between the United States and Thailand did allow reciprocity depending on the state you came from in the United States, if that state would allow a Thai to own a homestead effectively, essentially a plot of land for a house, then here in Thailand they'd allow something similar. Basically, again, sort of one rai of land with a house on it. That's why Jim Thompson had his house, was because that was sort of the way it was at that time. Now, things substantially changed from 1966 onward, where we saw a different treaty come into place with respect to Americans, and for many other nationalities, especially after the end of the so-called unequal treaties, it became virtually impossible for foreign nationals to own land in Thailand. Do I think it's going to happen anytime in the near future? It remains to be seen, but I find it very unlikely, as we've discussed in other videos on this channel.